And tonight I have the high privilege and distinct honor of my own as the first president to begin the State of the Union message with these words: Madam Speaker.
That was George W. Bush during his 2007 State of the Union address congratulating Nancy Pelosi on becoming the first female Speaker of the House. Pelosi announced yesterday she will not run for re-election after 20 terms in Congress. She led Democrats in the House, created huge legislative victories, dealt with dissenters, dealt with those who were strong advocates of progressive politics, a lot of things. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said Pelosi will go down as the greatest speaker of all time. Saikat Chakrabarti joins me now. He is running for Nancy Pelosi's congressional seat. He also served as Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff. Saikat, it's always good to see you. Look, you were the first one to jump into this race because this program thrives on breaking political news. Moments before we started talking to you, London Breed, former mayor of San Francisco, told Politico today, the story just posted, that she is strongly considering entering that race. Your reaction?
Look, it doesn't really change the reason I'm in this race and why I've been running for the last 10 months. At the end of the day, I jumped in this race because I really believe we need a Democratic Party that has leaders that have the courage to stand up to Trump right now, who are willing to use every tool at our disposal to stop what I see as an authoritarian coup going on in front of our eyes. But beyond that, we actually need a plan and a vision to actually improve people's lives. Because ultimately, the American dream has been shattered. It's been crumbling for decades. People are working longer hours to afford less and less. And if we can't turn that around, I think we're going to keep getting strongmen into power. And that hasn't changed. And I'm not calling for me to just win this one race. I have been talking about trying to recruit people to run all across the Democratic Party. I think we need a whole new generation of leaders. I think we need dozens, if not hundreds of people running all across the country. And I plan to keep doing that.
Assess for my audience what you believe history will say about Nancy Pelosi.
Look, Nancy Pelosi is going to go down as one of the greatest speakers in history, up there with people like Sam Rayburn. And I think when you actually look at her career, and if you watch her retirement video, I thought it was beautiful. It was a very touching video. It was a love letter to San Francisco. And it really made this point about how San Francisco has always been synonymous with the future. And that's not just because we have a tech industry here. San Francisco has always been the city that pushes to fix what the country is getting wrong. And that's, the legacy of all the movements we've had in our city, whether it's the disability rights movement, the gay rights movement, the sanctuary city policies. A lot of that stuff started right here in San Francisco. And Nancy Pelosi, when she first went into the House, she was this fearless voice that was calling attention to this national AIDS epidemic that was ravaging our city, and she got action. So her ability to take actual progressive pushing and turn it into real legislation, I think that's going to be a real legacy. I think her willingness to step down is also a huge act of leadership. It's something that's all too rare in Washington, and it ensures that her career is going to be remembered for all of her accomplishments, not for her just being in there for too long.
Yeah, but you announced, Saikat, before that was clear, and that meant you believed it was time for her to go one way or the other. So maybe she stayed longer than she should have?
Well, I've been clear from the start that I have a lot of respect for her career, but I do think we're in a new moment for the Democratic Party. We've got a new crisis right now, which is a cost of living crisis. In my city here in San Francisco, we face it hardest. I think we actually do need a legislator who's going to push the bounds of what's possible there again, right? I think we need to be actually tackling these big structural issues, things like healthcare, the cost of housing, the cost of education, the cost of childcare. We got to do that at a national level. We have to do the big structural fixes because it's come to a breaking point now, not just for me, but for everybody living in this country. So I call for things like a single-payer healthcare system that will guarantee healthcare to everybody, because every developed nation in the world has it, and we're the richest country in the world. I also call for putting our country on a mission to actually rebuild our manufacturing, rebuild our industries, create middle-class and working-class jobs again at a mass scale. Ultimately, I believe the big job ahead of us right now is to prove that democracy can work to improve your lives. Because if we can't do that, I think we're going to keep seeing authoritarians come into power. And I really feel I'm instructed by what I've seen in our own past. Because there was a far-right movement back in the 1930s that was extremely powerful. It was filling Madison Square Garden with these huge Nazi rallies. And the way we defeated that movement was FDR came in with a whole new movement, with the New Deal movement, and then through the New Deal and the mobilization for World War II, He used democracy to improve people's lives so dramatically. It just laid to rest this idea that you need an authoritarian to do it for you. So that's, I think, the moment we're at right now. I think we need new ideas. We need new leaders. We need a new kind of energy. And that's why I was running. And that's the kind of energy I'm trying to bring to the Democratic Party.
It's going to be a crowded primary. It may include London Breed, the former mayor of San Francisco. Saikat Chakrabarti, I appreciate your time. Let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Major.